everybody, welcome to another What a Hell of a Way to Die news update. As you can see, if you're watching on the video, I'm quite bundled up because it is about 7 degrees here right now when I'm recording, and I'm in the pod shack, and I have a space heater, but it is still kind of a big space that needs to be heated, and it's not quite there yet. And a space heater can only really do so much, so I am out here cold. I managed to keep all my fingers, though. I have not turned into a Frenchman trying to invade Russia in 1812. I have all of my fingers and toes, and I'm not dead. So, yay me, but it is still very cold out here. Thankfully, I am only working one day this week, and then I'm on vacation for a couple of days, away from St. Louis, away from this hateful cold. I don't even want to say, people say bitterly cold. I'm not going to do it. It is hatefully fucking cold. It's so cold outside. And I have a dog that wants to be walked 3 times a day. And that sucks because it's still really cold. And if you don't know my dog, this is my dog. This is Stella. That's a Great Pyrenees. She doesn't feel the cold. She doesn't feel cold at all. She doesn't give a shit how cold it is outside. She's perfectly happy to be out there in her snow hole. She dug a snow hole back in October, I believe. Like once winter kind of really starts to come, like she can smell fall, and she digs a hole, which is just really just like a small divot in my yard, which is great. She's got 2 of them. There's only one of her, but you know, a dog loves to fucking tear stuff up. So she's torn up parts of my backyard for her snow hole, but when I'm out here working, she's not out here now because it's not a work day for me. But she'll be in her snow hole. She's fine. So if you've got one of those, if you're cold, they're cold, bring him in kind of thing. Not with Stella. She doesn't want to come inside. She wants me to go outside and chase her around if I'm so worried about her being cold. So that's kind of what's going on here. Today is the 15th that I'm recording. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. If you got the day off, great. I did today, so it's great. I had a 3-day weekend. If you don't, I'm sorry. The upside to having a corporate emailing job sometimes is you get cool days off like this. So I spent it with my parents, and then took my daughter to dance practice and things. You know, spending it, doing normal dad stuff as we have to do sometimes. I know that you're really supposed to spend these days, reflecting and remembering. And I feel like, though, if you're listening to this show on a regular basis, and if you know me, you know that we reflect and think about how shitty, classism and how terrible it is that people are treated differently just because their skin is different. That fucking sucks, and it's terrible. And of course, there's going to be, look, it's by the time you're listening to this, it's too late for you to do anything, but don't argue with all the weird right wingers. I know Charlie Kirk had something where he's like, we're gonna expose the real Martin Luther King. Don't play into any of that. It's just all rage clicks. That's all they're trying to get. So if you missed out on it this time, in the future, don't listen to those people. They're not arguing in good faith. It doesn't matter. So hopefully, if you had today off, if you're in the military, I know you had today off, hopefully the hangover isn't too bad. You shouldn't be drinking that much anyway, soldier. You should be doing something better with your time and having 2 to 3 beers at a minimum. I can't talk. I drank throughout my entire career, and it wasn't until I got out when I could, stop drinking and smoke weed instead, which I know really it's not, oh, you stopped drinking. I stopped drinking like an asshole, but, also I just kind of replaced one thing for another. But, it's better. It's better for my liver this way. Probably not better for my brain. But we'll see. I'm a podcaster. Like how much of up here do I really need to hold on to? So hopefully you guys have had a good weekend. And if you're cold wherever you're at, I hope it warms up soon. St. Louis, it seems like we always have to get these. Every year we have to have some 0-degree temperatures so that throughout the rest of the year, when it's 30 degrees, we don't complain as much. We're still going to complain, but at least, when it's 30 degrees, at least it's not 0. This time last year, I was still recovering from the flu, and it was this cold, and I had to walk this fucking dog. So you can imagine that it can get pretty bad out there. But so yeah, I hope that you guys are staying warm. Let's get into some news for today. So PS Magazine. This is General Half-Mast from PS Magazine. If you are not familiar with PS Magazine, you probably didn't spend time in the military. And if you were in the military and don't know General Half-Mast, then somebody was failing you as soldiers to not have the monthly technical manual cartoon graphic novel come out, because this shit was great. When I joined back in 2000, we had these every drill weekend. We had a new pack of these, and I loved going through the PS magazines. It's the Preventative Maintenance Monthly, and PS stands for postscript. I always thought it was preventative service, because we do preventative service. The whole point behind the PS magazine was, here's various weapon systems or trucks or generators or the many things that we use in the military that we have to maintain on a regular basis, because if you don't maintain it, it falls apart, obviously. And that goes beyond just cleaning the M16s or whatever. You have to do more than just that. And at our level, at the soldier level, there are things that you do. We PMCS, preventative maintenance checks and services, where once a week, once a month, and once every 6 months, you had a list of things on your vehicle or your weapons or whatever that you had to go through and say, yes, we checked the oil, we made sure that all the windows aren't busted out, that the tires are full of air. We had to do this we were supposed to do it every weekend on drill weekends. Sometimes it didn't get done, but I mean, my first unit, we had 4 Humvees, and I'm going to really age myself here. A couple of Cuck Vs. The Cuck Vs was a camoed up Bronco, basically. It was just if you took a civilian Bronco and gutted everything inside of it that made it comfortable, and then painted it green, and then it cost twice as much, and you gave it to the military, that's what we had. So we had these cool kind of pickup trucks. They got rid of those. I don't know why, other than they're well, we're replacing them with the Humvees, but the Humvees just didn't have the same, it didn't have a truck bed. They took away our truck bed, so it was a little unfortunate there. So, but General Half-Mast has always been there, along with all kinds of anthropomorphic machine guns. We loved, tanks, everything. They put faces on everything. And it's interesting that they would do this because, really it was more engaging for the soldiers, I think. I loved it. I loved opening it up and see it a Maw Deuce sweating, just be oh, my headspace and timing's off. You didn't check the technical manual, blah, blah, blah. That was the gist of most of them. So PS Magazine has actually been going since 1951. June of 1951 is when they first started doing them. So it's been around for a long time, and it has been a part of military. We don't really talk about it that much in the Army, but we all knew about it. And it's been digital for a number of years at this point, so it really is getting the physical magazine really is kind of an old soldier thing at this point. Us people who have been in for probably longer than 10 or 15 years would know. People like me, I'm out. But again, I joined 24 fucking years ago. I know I'm old, but yeah, I joined a long time ago. We used to get these all the time, but nobody really gave a shit about them. But they were always there, and I always loved going through them. I always learned new stuff. The preventative maintenance had cool stuff here, the Sassy tank saying you can mount it on top of my turret as long as you use a mount assembly. About this, mounting a road wheel somewhere, and it's look, you can put it on top of me. This was what a lot of this was for, was here's some tips and tricks that maybe you don't know about the M1 series tanks. And these are older Abrams. These are not the M1 A2s or whatever we have now. So they're a little bit different. But the whole magazine was dedicated to stuff like this. And as you can see, he's kind of got a little sassy look on him. He's just pop it on my dome and we'll be fine here. I will also say that it used to be a lot sexier than it is now. This was Connie Rudd, I believe, and Connie Rudd. She was, you know, it was a male-dominated military back in the 50s and 60s. This is kind of how you got the soldiers to pick it up. You couldn't just like distribute porns, I guess. So you had Connie to ogle at while some guy was just like, yeah, it's time to, fix a tank or something. This sexy lady's going to come over here with her short skirts. They stopped doing that. They gave Connie a more professional look in the 80s because, this is not cool to have something like this, especially when you have, more and more women joining the military, and it's like, hey, cool, you're here, you're a sex object. So they stopped doing that, thankfully. So it's sad that that the PS magazine's going away, but I don't know how much the younger kids were really into it. Maybe if they could, we could have had greatness. This is where you could put AI or something, or have like a live action version of this. And they're getting rid of this, and for no reason other than like money, which is always a really fucking painful thing to hear when the defense budget keeps going up, and then they're like, but we need to cut these publications. And I personally, maybe it's an old soldier thing. Maybe it's because I'm old as hell and I want things to not change. It could be. But I feel like having this magazine and having something, that was tangible for soldiers to pick up and go through, even us part-timers, I was public affairs. When am I fixing a Sassy tank like this? Never. I have never seen an M1 Abrams tank in real life. I've never oh, look, there's like a functioning one. I've seen museum piece tanks, but I've never been like, oh, here's a functioning tank that we're going to go. I've seen Bradleys. I've seen, M1113s. Of course, all kinds of things. But the M1 tank, I don't believe that I've ever come across one in real life. So, us part-timers, we don't always get to see the cool stuff. At least not that kind of cool stuff. Though maybe I feel like I got yelled at by somebody on a tank shooting range somewhere, but I don't think that they were Abrams that were out. I could be wrong. I've also, it's been a long career, man. There's been a lot of, I don't remember everybody who's yelled at me. It's been so many people. So Preventative Service Magazine. Sad to see it go. Sad to see that a lot of soldiers are going to be missing out on some of this. Let's see. We have General. I kept calling him General Half-Mast. Master Sergeant Half-Mast is right. He was enlisted. So apologies. Master Sergeant Half-Mast and Connie Rudd, who is now a civilian. I imagine she got out so that she could go work for a contractor somewhere because she's the smart one, as well as Privates Dope and Fosgnoff were brought by Eisner from Army Motors, which was another military magazine that was mostly about vehicle maintenance. And so there's all kinds of other, Percy the Skunk for the Chemical Corps, Windy Windsock for aviation, Macon Sparks for the Signal Corps, to better serve a diversifying demographic in the military audience. An African-American civilian woman, Bonnie, was added. Hispanic quartermaster, Pablo Hablo. Questionable, but Pablo Hablo, sure, introduced in 1993, but was removed only 5 years later after being perceived as a racial stereotype. You could have just called him Ramirez, man. We've got so many Ramirezes. Just like Pablo Ramirez, perfect. Now you had to call him Pablo Hablo. You don't always have to lean into the rhyming scheme, guys. So, and as I said, this is all from Wikipedia that I'm reading this for you, but it's from the 50s to the 70s. Connie and Bonnie were played up as cheesecake, targeted mostly at the male GIs to keep them interested in using the magazine. Again, there were like centerfolds, not nudie, but kind of pin-up centerfolds. So, but they stopped doing that in the 80s. It was a lot of really great anthropomorphized guns and tanks. This one all through Vietnam. You can find Vietnam era ones where there's just like why can't I shoot my gun? And one of the guys like, I think I put when I broke it down, did I put the firing pin in backwards? That's something you need to worry about on this, the M60 machine gun. And then inside it would tell you all about, how to not be a fuck up with your M60. So, another weapon I never got to touch. So, I never had to be a fuck up with it. The one weapon that they gave us, that was confusing is they gave us a 249 when I went to Iraq. None of us carried a 249. We all carried M4s, but they gave us a 249 in training, and they're like, yeah, you guys should, take it back to the barracks and get familiarized with it. So we took it back to the barracks, and we took it apart, and we're like, cool, we took it apart just like they showed us, and we couldn't get it put back together. We had to get, thankfully there were some MPs, and they're like, one of you guys know what the fuck you're doing with it? Like, we all had our phones out, we're like trying to search it, and this is like 2009, so not everybody had a smartphone, and not everybody had great internet reception, and so we're trying to like find field manuals to read through, and finally just found an MP to come over and we put it back together, and we never took it apart again. We're like, here, take it. We all know how to take apart our M4s. It's fine. It's an M16, just smaller, but it's all the same guts and everything on the inside. It's fine. We're good with that. Don't give us the big guns anymore. I guess I don't know what the kids are doing today. Maybe you could get Master Sergeant. You get him like an AI generated Master Sergeant, or fuck it, like go live action with it. There's nothing stopping any of that. I've seen people do insane stuff with TikTok. I think you could do that, like the TikTok filter that's just like eyes and face, and put that over a tank and just be like, my wheels aren't feeling so great. You gotta check my tracks. There's a fucking dead raccoon in it or something. Gotta make sure you clean the dead raccoons out of the tracks of the M1 Abrams. A missed opportunity is all is what I'm saying. The military is very forward thinking in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways also they just they're not keeping up with the times. We are a very good social experiment. The military was the first place that the U.S. was fully like desegregating things, and women and minorities being boosted up through the ranks. But when it comes to like what do the kids want, the military has no idea, because it's a bunch of people who are older than me that are in charge of that stuff. I feel like the recruiting command should be a bunch of like 24-year-old specialists. That there should be a core of some specialists that can figure this out. Be like, no, man, we'll make some TikToks. We'll bring Master Sergeant around. Like maybe we could have it's a thing where it's like we're all Master Sergeant half mast. We're all preventative maintenance, and then everybody can put on a hat with the Master Sergeant and it says half mast on it, and you can talk about, I don't know, preventative maintenance and throw that shit up on TikTok. Look, I got ideas. If you want to get the kids into this, you gotta meet them halfway. And if you're gonna take away their comic books like this, you're gonna have to find something else. So hopefully they will continue though to keep their vehicles and their M2 machine guns in good working order. All right, next up. A third Top Gun movie is in the works. Top Gun is one of the few, like, look, it's a Navy movie, but we got to give it props because it was really good. I was very concerned that, when Maverick came out, I was like, this isn't going to be very good. It's going to suck. I now am, kicking myself for not going to see it in theaters because it was so good. And this third one's going to have Tom Cruise in it as well. And if Tom Cruise gets to continue to be the guy in charge and the lead, I think we're going to do all right. I've been kind of on a Tom Cruise kick recently. I watched the Jack Reacher movies, Collateral, and I was kind of surprised. He doesn't do a whole lot of movies. He does movies where he's like, no, this is the shit that I want to do. I'm not going to do a bunch of nonsense. Like, he's never going to be in like a limited series Netflix run. He wants to do movies, and he wants to do cool movies. So I got to hand it to Tom Cruise for that. He does cool movies. Yeah, he's a crazy Scientologist guy, but like, it seems that he's kind of kept that tamped down a little bit, which is nice. More of the crazy hasn't been coming out. No idea what's going to come of this. Even Top Gun 2 was kind of a stretch because, like, 30 something years had passed and he's not even an admiral. And of course you're like, no, I'm not going to take promotions because I want to fly. But like at a certain point, they have to stop. Like his eyesight can't be that good enough to be doing that. Like at a certain point, they make, like park rangers and cops stop carrying guns. So like, you're just too old. You can't carry a gun anymore. Go retire somewhere. So I'm hoping that this one is more him kind of flying a desk and, talking people through it. But also, I do want to see Tom Cruise just doing some cool Tom Cruise shit. So I will go see this. I will watch whatever Tom Cruise does up until the day Tom Cruise dies. He's got a lot going on for him. He's got a lot of exciting stuff. All right, and finally, we're going to do a technical of the week. I haven't done a technical of the week, but I was browsing through the Reddit the subreddit of shitty technicals, which is shitty technicals is just what they call it. You can have nice technicals in there. This is a Mexican technical that look. There's certain rules and regulations that come with a technical, right? Like a technical has to be a civilian vehicle that is being turned into something for war. It has to have a driver and a gunner. It has to have something. It has to be mounted into it. It can't be like a guy in the back with an AK-47. That's not technical. So, but now we're starting to see a lot of vehicles are being purposely made for things like this. Like the U.S. Army with our runaway budget was like, fuck it, MRAPs all day long, which are good, great. MRAPs are fantastic because when you drive over a bomb with it, it doesn't blow you up. You drive over a bomb in this thing, you're fucked. So, very, very much, loving the MRAPs that we had. But a lot of vehicles are being made specifically, like we are making pickup trucks with guns mounted in the back of them. So now it kind of becomes if you've made the pickup truck like specifically for this purpose, is it still a technical? I don't know. What I do like about this one though, is I like that it's got kind of a drop down area in the back, where you can see it's got little, windows, little portholes you can look out of. I assume it's fairly bulletproof back there. I am wondering though, like how far down that bulletproofness goes, because like the sides of that truck, like above the wheel well, is not bulletproof whatsoever. Like you can punch a 7.62 right through that real easy, especially if you're full auto, doing a full auto on it. So I hope that that little bulletproof shell, I'm going to assume it's bulletproof because that tiny window is probably a bulletproof window. It's small because it's harder to hit and it's going to have less stress points. So my hope is that the whole thing is armored down there. If you're not going to drop down, it's like, oh, my head's fine, and you get shot in the ass by somebody. But I love it. It looks great. It's very very blue. Very bright, and really means business. Like you can see that this is purposely made, purpose made for something here. Probably fighting cartels, I imagine, because they have to do a lot of that out there. So, technical of the week. Shout out to the Mexican Army for having some in Sinaloa having a great forward thinking on this. Looks like it's even got like police lights on the top there. So, we complain a lot about how the cops here in the United States have MRAPs now, but at least they're not mounting fucking Ma Deuces on the top of it. At least like they're using it like, oh, this is where we can kind of battering ram into something and we can get into it, and like if somebody shoots at us, the bullets aren't going to go through and kill us. I mean, look, it's not great optics to have these giant, they're not tanks, but your average civilian is going to see them as a tank-like object, and have those driving around. But certainly, I don't think you're going to do any better with a pickup truck with a machine gun mounted up on top. So. Let's go ahead and take a break. We're going to jump over into the media and then kind of close this out here. All right. So I have been trying to do a lot more reading this year, but also trying to expand some of the TV watching that I'm doing as well. So I've been kind of, I have a thread going of books that I finished this year. Now, one book that I was trying to finish was 1812, Napoleon's Fatal March to Moscow. It is a good book, and if you're looking for something like that, you can, if you're looking for a historical book to read that's easy to access and everything, it's good. It's where you want to be at, but I don't know. I just at the time wasn't in the mood, so I might go back and finish it. But what I have been doing is re-listening to the Lions Led by Donkeys series on Napoleon. So go listen to that. It's one of the earlier ones, episode 94 is where it starts or something. But if you really want to get some good dead Frenchmen, that's the way to go. So let's see. So what have I been? Oh yes. So I finished reading The Inferno by Dante. I read it originally when I was in high school, so it's been a minute since I've gone through it. My mother gave it to me, and I will eventually get to Purgatorio and Paradiso. It's a 3-book. If you're not familiar, Dante is getting a tour of hell, purgatory, and heaven by the poet Virgil. So and it's called the Divine Comedy, but we're talking words in 12th century Italy, so comedy meant more of something that is written for the lay people, for everybody else. It's not funny. However, it is kind of funny because this is the most hater book that I did not catch it on the first time I read it, but Dante is such a fucking hater, man. He hates 2 things most in this world: fucking Pope Boniface VIII and the city of Florence. Now, he is Florentine, but he got exiled from Florence. So he spends at least like every other canto of the chapters, shit-talking Florence in one way or another. He's even putting people down here in hell that are not even dead yet. Like, there's one guy who's just like, yeah, the soul is... Dante's like, you're still alive. He's like, yeah, I fucked up so bad that the devil came and a demon came and took my soul down here and the demon is just walking around in my skin up there until I die. But yeah, I fucked up so bad. And that was one of those like 9th circle of hells down in the very bottom. So I highly recommend trying give it a whirl. It's not long, but it is a book that you have to pay attention to. Get one that has a lot of really good notes in the back and footnotes and everything, because there's a lot of 12th century politics that you're just not going to understand. Something else that was very strange to me about it was that there's a lot of Greek and just a lot of Greek god influence. Like, there's a whole circle like between the 8th and the 9th circles. There's this whole like area of the giants, and it's the giants that tried to overthrow Zeus. And there's just a lot of like people from Greek mythology that are in hell as well in various ways. Also, the Prophet Muhammad is in hell because he did a schism. So I imagine if you go back through it now, there's going to be all kinds of people down there in hell. Also, the guy who convinced Henry VIII, curiously, not down in hell. I don't know if he was dead by this time, but the guy who told him to schism from the Catholic Church, that guy's real in hell. That guy's in super hell, like one of those things against the church. So if you want to read a book of a man just hating on some people and hating on his fucking... Look, if I got exiled from St. Louis, I would hate on this fucking place as even more. Like, I already do because I live here and I can. That is my right to hate on this fucking city. But if they kicked me out for some reason, it's like, you can't come back for 2 years because of some weird turf war going on, I would be I would be writing all kinds of things shit talking St. Louis. How fucking dare you with your River de Pear, fucking nothing but drain water and sludge just going out into the Mississippi. You don't have your fucking airport's still busted and shit. Just everything about you is terrible. You're hemorrhaging people because nobody wants to live there. But I live here, so it's nice. You should come visit. We got a lot of great things here. Something else, I am rereading Redwall, but with my daughter. So when I was, when she was born, I read to her every night from like day one. I was always reading books to her. So once she learned how to read books, that kind of stops. And it's sad, but it is the how things progress. So she was, I think my wife mentioned something to her about it, and she's like, "Oh, I'd love Dad to read to me again." And my wife suggested Redwall, because it's got, if you've never read it, it's meant to be read out loud. It's meant to be read to blind kids, really. So all the different animals have accents. The hairs are all very British. One thing I didn't understand is this is written by a British author, but like everybody has this regular kind of unaccented speech. Like the mice are all just, whatever, but the hairs are very British. Like they're tapio. Like it sounds like me trying to do a British accent. It's almost like you brought in an American to be like, write all the hairs because I need you to sound fucking ridiculous. So we've been reading this. It's great. I love this book, and I'm looking forward to reading more of them with her. There's like 20 of these books. I am probably going to make some executive decisions to jump over some because the one after this book, Madame Mayo, fucking sucks. It's not good. But I have Martin the Warrior. I have Lord Brocktree. I have Tagarung. I have The Bellmaker. I have a lot of copies of some books that I think that we're going to have fun going through. So this has been great. If you've never read them, or if you've got a kid that might be into them, like I was a little concerned because there's a lot of death in this. A lot of people die, and not in like kind of weird off-screen ways that sometimes in a PG Disney movie it's just like, oh, they die, but like you don't show anything. Chapter like 4 has a rat getting crushed to death by a wagon wheel. There's a snake that poisons some of them. There's just all kinds of nasty stuff going on in it, and she seems to be fine with it. So I was concerned, but she's into it, and it's been really helping her go to sleep at night too. So that's super cool too. All right, and finally, so I had never grew up watching Night Court, and we last night we were watching. My wife and I have been kind of watching 30 Rock. Just kind of doing they're 20-minute episodes. You can cram a couple in between when the kid goes to bed and we go to bed. There's like a good hour and 10 minutes there sometimes. So it's like not enough to watch a full movie, but we can watch a couple of episodes. So I had never watched Night Court. My parents didn't watch it, so it just was not on TV when I was a kid. And I am surprised because they had a Night Court episode of 30 Rock, and I was like, oh, I've offhandedly mentioned I had never seen it. My wife had one of those like, dropping the drink glass out of her hands, like, what? No, we need to watch this. And we watched 2 episodes yesterday. I love it. I love how episode 2 of season 1 is already a Christmas episode, and one of those very special episodes with fucking Marty McFly. It's got Michael J. Fox as this kid that nobody cares about me, and man, Michael J. Fox, I've never really seen him in anything other than Back to the Future. A long time ago, I watched Casualties of War, which he's in. I don't really remember much of it, but like, I don't really know Michael J. Fox in anything like those younger ones. I know he was in Spin City. He had a bunch of other stuff, but like when he was a kid, man, he really knew how to he acted with his whole body. And he could really when he had to it hits it there. So I'm into it. It's on Amazon Prime, like all 9 seasons. I don't know how far we're gonna get into it. We were also doing a watch through of Doctor Who, and we're kind of sputtering out at season 4, and I know they're on like season 12 or 15 or something at this point. So I don't know, maybe we'll get back to that. So but that's what I've been watching. Did you watch Night Court? Because like I said, this completely gone by my wayside. I knew about it as a cultural touchstone, but I never watched it. I had no idea what it was about. Court at night, very, very peculiar. So I've been enjoying it. And also, if you read the Redwall books, tell me which one was your favorite. so that I can kind of slot those in. I also am going to be doing Salamandastron at some point in time because I loved all the Badger Lord stuff. It's the entirety of Salamandastron is just like, here's badgers and hares fucking up sea rats, and that's the only story that we have out here. Maybe there's like some other things that happen. We got to fill out 250, 300 pages, but in the end, it's just a giant Badger Lord going red, mist-eyed, and just slaughtering the shit out of a bunch of sea rats. So, tell me what you think and what you got, and we'll slot those in. Right, so this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode, I guess. Again, it's really cold out here. It has warmed up. You can no longer see my breath. My toes are starting to get feeling back in them again, but I want to go run inside and take a hot shower for the next 15 minutes or so. So thank you for watching and listening. Over on Patreon, I've released a early episode that is going to be coming out probably next Monday. Or when you're watching this, the coming Monday. It is a episode with Joe Kasabian talking about the South African, the charges of genocide that they've been bringing to the ICJ, and just what it means, and like historically what's been going on, what the charges mean, and everything. Keep in mind that it was recorded on January 10th. So we're working with information up till then. I know that the actual, the hearings have started. There's been a lot of really good impassioned speeches out there. A really great one from Ireland as well. And but then you've got the fucking Germans and the Canadians being like, nope, we're not, nope, still, no, it's fine. What they're doing is fine. So that's over on Patreon. If you are at any level in Patreon, you're going to be getting those interview episodes early. But if you're not on the Patreon, the interview episodes will come out about a week later. We'll slot them in as we go along. Nate and I are still back to recording as well. So the dad chats are going to be coming. You're going to be getting these. You're going to be getting dad chats, and you're going to be getting those interview episodes when they come out. I'm hoping to keep that at 2 or 3 a month or so, and then also all the bonus episodes. I record a lot. There's a lot of podcasting that I do. It is amazing that I have time for anything else. And truly, I don't. Truly, in a lot of ways, I don't have time for other things. But, I do, I have the store. Let's take a look at that. So we have these, the I Tread Where I Will Please patches are back. These are adhesive backed. I was doing Velcro. I've moved over to doing adhesive sticker backed, because you can put it on more things, and you can treat it like an iron-on too. So you can put it on, you can hit it with a heat press, and it'll stay on as well. So these are always really popular. I try to keep them in the store as much as possible. So $7. I also have these as stickers. So if you don't want it in this mode, I have it in another mode. I really, like I said, these are very popular ones, and I really love it. I love having these ones around. What else do we have? The Yip Yip Martians. If you are have not seen these, my wife makes these. We're kind of leaning into a lot more handmade stuff. So these Yip Yip Martians are little bags that you can put stuff in. She has all kinds of colors of them. She's working on making them into a hat because everybody really wants to wear them as a hat for some reason. So she's trying to figure that out. Give the people what they want. And then finally, as I talked about, getting more into handmade stuff, the Dick Gun coffee, my first run has already sold out. I am going to have a second run by the time this gets into the, by the time you're listening to this, you'll be able to go to hellofawaytodie.com and go ahead and order one of these. I have probably maybe about 15 more of these that are going to go out. So, and limited edition, I got these cups for a good deal, and I'm slapping these on them, and these are the only ones that I have until I find a whole bunch more, I guess, or I do something else. But I know that in the store I don't refresh it with as much stuff as I would like, just because time, money, storage area, things like that. So we are doing a lot more handmade stuff. We have smaller batches of things that will go out, and we'll have fewer things there, but they will be changing more often. I'm doing, I reclaim signs. I go to Goodwill and I go to Savers and I find those goofy signs that say Mom turned upside down. It says wow, and then I sand the face off of it and repaint it, and I put like the "This is not a place of honor" on it, and then I put it in the store, and you can buy it and hang it up in your house. Recycled kitsch that I am taking and making into my own weird bullshit. So keep an eye out for those. Those are going to be in there though. And if you're wondering where can you get more information about these when this stuff comes out, I'm always sending out emails. So if you go to hellofawaytodie.com, there's a subscribe button. You hit that and you can get emails. I send about 2 a month with sales and interviews and all the episodes. But also, if you're on Patreon at any percent, at any monetary level, anything that you're giving us monetarily, I will be sending out, Patreons will get first crack at it. Sometimes Discord members get first crack at it. If you're in our Patreon, you can be in our Discord as well. So there, I put these things out in a lot of places first. So like when they hit Twitter, I'm usually I have a low stock of them. So sign up for the newsletters, sign up on Patreon and get into the Discord, and you'll see them there. As well as we have a really great thriving Discord community with Lines Led by Donkey. So it's a good mashup of our two podcasts, and the fan base is there. So it's a lot of fun. I'm in there a lot. Joe's in there all the time. Producer Tom's in there all the time. So yeah, we've got plenty of places that you can get more of us. And I am, strangely enough, like I always worry, like every year that comes around, I'm just like, is this going to be the year that like, I don't know, that this peters out? Like, are people going to finally get me like, I don't want to listen to podcasts anymore. That's fucking stupid. Somehow it's not happened. And somehow I am motivated to do more and push it forward. I'm motivated to evolve, I guess. And not just because of like capitalistic reasons, but because I'm going to get bored if I don't. I'm doing artistic things now, but I'm still keeping them weird and goofy, and then putting them up in the store to let you have my weird goofiness. Because if I don't do that, then I'm gonna have a bunch of signs sitting around in my house, and I don't want that. Like I keep my 1 or 2, and then I sell the rest of them. So sign up wherever you can. Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you for supporting us, and we will talk to you next week.